Welcome to another episode of the Cynical Writer. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that the best way to support this channel is to purchase my books, and I've left some links in the description section in case you're interested. Now, I know it's been quite a while since I've made an episode of the Cynical Writer, mainly because I got sidetracked a few months ago when I was preparing for this vacation, and I didn't really have time to make a lot of videos. And then after I got back, I've been toiling away on my latest writing project, trying to get that into shape, which it's still going to be probably a few more months before it's ready. I mean, it should be ready by sometime next year, but it's been a very long and arduous process because this novel is a lot more ambitious than to the books that I'm used to working on, so it's taking up quite a bit of my time. But I thought that I would at least try to continue with the series because I don't want to abandon it completely, even though I've made some I guess you could say some strides on TikTok, and I'm doing far better on TikTok than I am on here. Even though TikTok, because of the limited time you have to say things, there's not really a whole lot of time for substance, so I still use YouTube for that reason. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you today about how do you know as a writer if you're being disciplined. Now, of course, recently I haven't been disciplined when it comes to this series, but how do you know if you're being disciplined when it comes to your writing? Well, obviously, if you are writing consistently on a daily basis, or at least every 2 or 3 days, then you know that you are being somewhat disciplined. However, there are other ways that you can know that you're being disciplined. I actually believe that if a writer is truly disciplined, then their friends and family probably aren't going to like them as much, to be perfectly honest, because if you are consistently writing, you are going to have to turn down invitations. Sometimes you're going to have to say, sorry, I can't do this with you today. I'm going to have to write. And a lot of your friends and family probably won't understand that, because to a lot of people, they don't actually see writing as being work. They don't see writing as being a job. And therefore, they think that what you're doing is a hobby that you can do just any time. But of course, writing is far more important than that. And there's a deep, burning passion inside of me to write, and that's why I've been trying to do it as much as I can. And before I was disciplined, however, I didn't really care if I was interrupted by anyone. I just wrote whenever. So if you're becoming more disciplined, then the people around you probably won't approve of it, because you're devoting more time to your work and less time to them, which can be very discomforting for a lot of people, because again, there's this idea that writing isn't work. I mean, especially if you're not making a full-time living writing. However, even writers who are making a full-time living, even them probably still suffer from snide remarks from friends or family or whatever, because when a writer is working on a book, even if they've made a lot of money, obviously they're not making any money while they're writing a book. The financial rewards come later. So a lot of people have this false idea in their head that unless you are working for an employer or unless you have a salary, then what you're doing isn't work. But that's just complete nonsense. If you are devoting your time to writing, and if you're devoting your time to harnessing your craft, that is real work, and such work should be respected for that reason. But again, it's just this false idea in society that writing isn't real work. That idea has been very unbeneficial to writers. But being disciplined as a writer, I think, is very important because and again, it doesn't mean you have to devote all your time to writing. That's not what it means. A lot of people like to say, "I don't have time to write," or only privileged people who can stay home. Only they have time to write. Well, I think if someone really wants to write, if they have a deep, burning passion inside of them, they'll find time to write somehow. I mean, almost everyone, even if you work a 12-hour shift, has an hour, half an hour, or 15 minutes even that they can set aside to write. But a lot of people, they don't have the will or the temerity to do that. They would rather scroll on their phone. Now, obviously, if you only have 15 minutes to write, you're going to work at a much slower pace than someone who has a lot of time to write. But incrementally over time, writing adds up, and eventually you will have a polished manuscript of some kind. So this idea that if you don't have a lot of time, that means that you can't be disciplined, that's also false, because if writing is truly important to you, you'll find a way. I'm not talking about someone who's like, "Oh, wouldn't it be fun if I could write?" No, I'm talking about someone who has a deep, burning desire to write that is unquenchable. They will ultimately find a way to write somehow. So overall, I think those are the ways that you know if you're being disciplined as a writer. Well, I hope you enjoyed my speech for today. I will try to make more videos soon. Don't forget to check out my work in the description section. And until next time, goodbye.